was a big blessing.
Totally. Do you
Mm.
ever like write an entire song and about it changes? Like do you write half the lyrics 1 year and then 3 years later finish it, or once you finish something, is it just kind of that's what it is?
No, I like to think you can do it anyway. So that's how it happens with me. Sometimes it's the complete song, you got all the words and all the melody, and you can go in and record it. Sometimes, like you say, you've got an idea for the song, and you maybe got the first verse or something, but you haven't got a bridge, you haven't got a middle. So that's good to come back to it and think, oh, I better get serious here. I better make a bridge. So that happens as well. And then sometimes I just make it up in the studio.
Wow,
And
that's bold.
that's a bit more precarious, because you can spend hours thinking, what should this word be, and whatever. But yeah, and I do it in a variety of ways. I like to mix it up.
I can't imagine doing that. I feel like my lyrics would be so bad if I was just going off the cuff.
Yeah,
It'd be like, just like the worst rap battle ever would be.
it it is a bit, I must say. Yeah. No, sometimes if I'm in that experimental mode, I did a record a few years ago called Fireman, which was it was me. It was kind of like an underground record. We didn't say I was involved. We just called it the Fireman, and I did it with a friend of mine who was called Youth, who's a producer, and we just experimented. In the first couple of we did it. I think we've done 3 Fireman records, and the first one was instrumental, kind of trance music. It was just that kind of vibe. Second one was a little bit more experimental, but the third one, he says to me, "Do you want to do a vocal?" I said, "Well, I've got no words, you know," and he said, "Well, yeah, yeah, go on, have a go." So I went out on the mic, and I'm then saying, "Okay, disclaimer. This could be the worst thing you've ever heard. This could be me totally crapping out. But you have to just get courageous and just go on the mic and go, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, and this is what I'm going to do. It's like
It's a hit. It's a
suddenly,
hit.
if you're
That's Paul
lucky, a
4.
little line comes out that means something, and you can build
Right.
on that. But it is a bit like walking a tightrope.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is, yeah, it's kind of what I do by myself, but
Yeah,
doing it in
yeah,
front of other people, you must have to have a lot of trust for like, don't
yeah.
embarrass me, don't look at me while I do this,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, no, that's funny. I was just saying that to my Nancy the other day that I had to work on something. There was a bit of thing where I needed a bit of melody and some words. Um, and I said, normally I'll find the furthest away closet in the house where no one's going to hear me, or an outbuilding, or anywhere, just the furthest, most remote bedroom, just so as I don't feel anyone's listening to me. Because if I feel someone's listening, I'm always like very inhibited, and thinking, God, they're going to think I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Because when you're writing, you're goofing around, and it doesn't always just work till you find the line, and then you can write that down. But sometimes, so I like to be hidden away,
Yeah,
um,
me too.
you know.
Have you ever accidentally plagiarized somebody? Like, have you ever come up with a melody or some words that are genius and then you
Yeah,
realize that you'd heard them on the radio or something?
yeah, I do that occasionally and try and check it out. Think, where is that from?
Yeah.
And if I can't think of it, then I think, okay. I remember talking to John Lennon once about that, and I'd done something that was a little bit like something else. He said, "It's okay. It's a quote. You know,
Yeah.
you're quoting someone else.
Right.
But the good thing about writing with John in the old days was um, if he or I, like for instance, for me, if he would write a line that I would go, oh, no, no, wait a minute, that's from West Side Story, or that's a Bob Dylan song, or And he, oh yeah, okay. And similarly, he'd do it with me. You know, if I was going somewhere that was a little bit plagiarizing, and he'd say, "Isn't that so and so?" Oh yeah. So it was good because we could, police each other on that.
Were you comfortable being embarrassed with each other? Like, could you write a bad line and know that he'd
Yeah,
be like, that sucks. Like, we can do better than that, or
yeah.
same with him?
No, yeah. That was one of the great things about him as a collaborator. Um, we we'd kind of known each other for a long time before we had any big success. Um, I I knew him when we were teenagers, and I'd been hitchhiking with him, and so we were like buddies, you know. We slept in the same bed in the little hotel and stuff, you know, so that you get to know people like that. So so if then when you were sitting down and writing, um, no, you could just say, "Yeah, don't like that," and he could say, "No, no, 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 no." And in fact, nowadays, now that he's passed away, I will check my songs with him, as it were. You know, I'll write a line and go, "Oh my God, this is getting a bit sickly. Wait a minute, would I have got away with this with John?" And
Right.
his voice comes back, "No." They go, "Okay, I better." So I think you're
That's so
always on
cool.
the lookout for. But yeah, no, we were very good at telling each other that didn't work. This doesn't work. So
Yeah.
let's change it. And that was a
Mhm.
nice thing. It's always great when you change it because often you get something better.
Oh, totally. Do you ever find that if you're really searching for a rhyme or another line to go along and it takes you forever,
Yeah,
when you finally find it, I feel like the initial thing that you were trying to rhyme it with is just it pales in comparison. Like
yeah,
it just doesn't even make sense anymore. The focal point of the song disappears into a way better song
yeah,
than the idea. I love that
yeah,
feeling.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. And sometimes you'll, like you say, be hung up on a line or on a thought, and it's just taking too long, and it's causing too much trouble. So you just get rid of it. Let's just go somewhere else, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a nice feeling. We the one big time that happened with me and John writing was we were doing a song that turned out to be "Drive My Car," the Beatles song, "Baby, You Can Drive My Car."
Hmm.
Um, but at first, I brought it in, and I had the rough melody, but it was like, "I can buy you diamond rings, I can get you anything," and it was like, you know, and we were trying so hard to make something of it, but in the end, we just looked at each other. It was like, this isn't going to work. So I think we had a cup of tea, a little quick break, came back to it, and then just thought, no, we got to kind of go tongue in cheek, and it's about this girl who wants a driver, and you know, and then it flowed once we just got away from those golden rings.
Yeah. Do you have things that you do when you are stuck, like take a little walk or make a cup of tea or things that
Yeah,
work every
I think
time?
it is. Yeah, I think it's good if you can just to get away from it for a moment, bit of fresh air or something.
Yeah.
There's, I heard a story. There's a guy, Fats Domino, the old rock and roll player from New Orleans. He used to write with a guy called Bartholomew, I think it was, and they're sitting one day. They're trying to write this song, and it's going quite well, but they walk outside into the garden kind of thing, and there's a neighbor who's got quite a vicious dog. The dog starts barking at them, and they kind of go, "Oh hell, get back in the house." And then it was like, "Baby, don't you let your dog bite me." That's like, "Yes, I mean I'm in love again. Baby, don't you let your dog bite me." It's like the best line in the song, but it came
Totally.
from them taking a break out in the garden.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So how about